Hey y'all, this is Jessie with our latest episode of GunGals Live. We have a fun show planned for y'all and are excited to get to it. But first, let's run through tonight's panel. Tonight we have Armintha. How's it going?
It's good. It's good. How about you?
It's going good so far. We'll
Yay.
see how this goes. We have Stacey. How's it going?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. We have Aaron. How's it going?
It is going great. Thank you so much for asking.
No problem. Before we get started, we want to give a huge shout out to our awesome Patreon supporters: Clover Tack, Ghost Tactical, GA Trucker, Angry Hay Cutter, The Gun Snob, Gizzard Gary, Budget Guns and Gears Review. Thank you for your support to Gun Gals. Okay, y'all. So tonight's episode of Gun Gals Live is going to focus on having a home defense plan. People seem to imagine that their homes are the safest place and tend to let their guard down when in their homes, whether it be due to familiarity, I hate that word, with their homes, surrounding neighborhoods. People seem to imagine nothing could go wrong when at home. In reality, houses tend to be the major target for those who are of criminal mindset. So with that being said, we're going to discuss ways we and y'all can protect ourselves in our homes. So, ladies, this is going to be an interesting topic because we're all going to have different views, and everyone's home plan is going to be different, just for the simple fact that some people have kids, some people just have themselves. Everyone has different lives going on, and so what is going to work best for them is going to differ from what's going to work best for someone else. So tonight we're just going to sit there and try to give some points to those that are looking to create a home plan or make adjustments to the plan that they already have. What would you say are some weak points in a home?
People who leave their front door unlocked.
That's a very good. Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to stop anyone who wants to get in, but if you just do that door latch, that will buy you time when you hear someone trying to get in. Combine that with a loud sounding dog, and well, that's pretty much the foundation of my plan. But now I'm talking over you. So yeah, I would say don't make it easy. Don't invite them in. Just latch the doors.
Not having good lighting outside.
Oh yes.
Very true. How about you, Armintha?
I don't know. Not fixing things. Like um, if your door's old, the framework on it may need to be fixed, reinforced, or something. Even around windows, or if you've got tree limbs next to windows, things that people can climb up and go across, or something that could be easily broken.
Absolutely. Also, I know with some older homes, latches for windows, they aren't going to last forever. And in a family member's house, we actually went to open the window because it was like spring or summer, and it completely broke in half, the latch. And so you're looking at these old fashioned windows, and the parts to fix that wasn't easy to find. So definitely windows that can't latch, doors that don't shut completely. Definitely some good points. How would you say to improve weak points with the trees and stuff? That would be, a simple fix if you're willing and able, I guess. Can y'all think of other ways?
So there is, well, I say a kit. I'm sure there are different versions of them online, where you can reinforce your door so that it is much harder to kick in. And you do that by adding what is essentially a kick plate that goes over the latch, and you replace a lot of the screws that hold in the bolt hardware with much longer screws. And it just generally makes the door much harder to break in. And I installed that in our house, I want to say around 2015, something like that. And it wasn't difficult. I got it done, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour at most. It really doesn't take a whole lot of time. And I don't remember the cost on it. I'm almost positive it was under $50. And it goes a long way to, again, reinforcing the main avenue of entry.
There was also, if you've got like a deadbolt, you don't want it to be a latch on the inside either. Having it where it requires a key for either side. That way, if somebody does break glass trying to unlock that, they wouldn't be able to do that because it wouldn't be just a latch there either.
Right on.
That's a really good point. How about you, Stacey?
Well, I have 4 dogs, so they are usually a huge deterrent anyways. But, I've seen things on Facebook where, you put a bloody boot on your porch and say, beware a dog. The last one didn't survive. Well, that might help too.
That's a creative way of doing it. For me, I'm all about kind of using the things that we have and doing things on a budget. So with like windows that someone could crawl into, we've thought about using like furniture in place to kind of make it a little bit more difficult. People have used like their headboards, the tall dressers, miscellaneous stuff like that. It's also a good option.
So I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that if you want to discourage people from getting in through windows like ground floor windows, but you don't want to make it obvious, you can plant certain types of plants that'll discourage that. For example, anyone who has encountered holly bushes knows just how much they suck because they got those spiky little bits everywhere. And so if you have a bush, a hedge of holly right next to your window, only the most dedicated people are going to go through there.
Rose bushes, definitely. I've been attacked many times by rose bushes just trying to clean a yard. And
so that is kind of an invisible way. It looks like, landscaping. But then when someone tries to get in, ow, this sucks. And they may decide that they want to go elsewhere.
Right. Stacey, you had mentioned lights. One of the options that I had looked into was floodlights. You can use them on your garage, your barn, your house. I've seen where people have had them like attached to a tree that's away from their house, detached garages and miscellaneous stuff like that. That's also a really good point. Motion sensing lights, whether inside the house or outside.
Both.
Oh,
Yeah.
we have security lights and we have motion detection lights and we have, of course, porch lights. So we have a little bit of everything around here.
Yeah, and I currently just have like a pole light. I like to get some motion sensitive floodlights. I had it before because my dogs were, loose and stuff. So I figured they would always kick it on. But now that they're a little bit more contained, I wouldn't mind going and getting some anyways, just to have better lighting if we're going outside or something. Because the pole light does enough, but not gives you enough lighting for everything. So But yeah.
Right. Now, Erin, you had brought up a great point of the shrubs, bushes, and stuff like that. One of the articles that I was looking into earlier today, it also said that that can kind of be a downside at times, especially if people aren't regular about trimming things up, because that gives intruders a hiding spot. Like if you have an attached garage, people can sit there and hide behind bushes and stuff like that and then sneak into your garage before you close the door. So with getting shrubs and bushes, it's great if they're going to attack people and detour them, but make sure that you stay up on keeping things trimmed so people can't hide behind them and use that as a...
Yes, absolutely. Keep your bushes well trimmed.
How about...
don't leave ladders and things like that. You know, I know some husbands, mine does from time to time, does work outside and with his tools and things. Don't leave ladders and things like that laying around, because those are just invitations like, hey, here's a ladder to my house.
Right.
So put your tools away.
Right. PSA for all of the men out there. Make sure you keep things where they're supposed to go, not just laying all over the place.
Exactly.
Now, with home defense, how to maintain access to firearms without making it easy for intruders. I was really excited about this topic because we are all at different stages in our lives. And so you have, with us being in the gun community, you always hear about every gun has to be in the gun safe. You know, your ammo should be somewhere else. You hear a lot of these different ideas. So for this, how would you make it, or not how would you make it, what do you think is a good idea for accessing firearms but not making it so intruders can get to them before you can?
Okay, so I actually fashioned something. After doing this video, after doing this discussion this week with my husband and us trying to figure this out, let me see if I can turn my camera around here. Okay. Not sure how well you can see that.
That is awesome.
But it's basically like a little pouch that hangs off the side of the bed, and it actually has my firearm in it.
That is really cool. Now, with you bringing that up, there are a lot of companies out there that do make like headboards, end tables, clocks, miscellaneous stuff like that, where you can hide your firearm and keep it.
Like tactical walls.
Yes.
Yeah, and also the first NRA that I went to in Dallas, we went to tactical walls, and I love their stuff, and I love to be able to order their stuff. But I also got a magnet, and so I had the magnet mounted on the side of my bed where I sleep at, so I can put my gun there. So it's literally mounted on my bed because, you know, I can take my gun off whenever I want, but I have that magnet on there, so all I have to do is stick the gun to the magnet. So, and that was like $20 through tactical walls at NRA, and that works perfect. So, you know, and then my husband made a little thing above the bed for his AR, which it'd hold, you know, the AR, shotgun, whatever we want on it. That's mounted above our bed.
That's really cool. I'm also a big fan of the hideaway books. I love books in general, and so the fact that they have a place where you can put your handgun in something that looks just like a book, I think that is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I also have 2 of them that I got when I did my interview with the hideaway books and stuff that I did at the Wanamaker. So I have 2 of them as well.
That's cool. How about you, Aaron?
Well, I'm going to upset the boat a little bit by simply saying if you carry with your sidearm holstered all the time, it's not really an issue now, is it? Because you'll always have it there and you can always respond to an incident.
Okay, mine was in response though to being asleep more than anything.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's run a scenario of it's like 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever time someone's asleep and someone is trying to break into the house.
Oh, okay. So in that situation, and that's assuming I know someone is breaking in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my home defense carbine. I'm going to set up in the hallway that leads to my bedroom and my mother's bedroom because, all right, if they really want to steal the TV, they can. But if they come down to where she and I are sleeping, they're going to die. And then I call 911 because it's not my job to make people go away.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm not going to get into exactly how the house is set up, but
No. That we are all trying to give others out there ideas for their own home defense plans. I'm trying to keep this where nobody's actually giving away personal information.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if our listeners know the concept of the fatal funnel. And put really simply, it means if bad guys want to go down to a certain area, they have to present themselves in a nice single file to be shot. And that's why I set up in the hallway, because, if they're going to come do something to us, they have to come down that hallway and they make themselves targets. And so, all right, if they want to steal anything from the living room, fine. They come down that hallway. They clearly mean harm. And so I've got, well, let's just say that I know really, really well what's on the other side of that drywall. And I know that if I have to, I can empty several magazines in that direction and I'm not going to hurt anyone. I mean, I'll tear the hell out of the house, but just in terms of my conscience, it's all good. There's a good backstop there. So yeah, it's just, hey, police, come make these people go away. Be advised that I have a gun and I will use it to defend the life of my family. And I'll stay on the line and hopefully nobody gets shot. It's kind of a simple plan, but my job isn't to patrol the house, slicing the pie, and maybe provoking an assault.
Right. For this next topic, I didn't really think I was going to have to have this topic, but apparently this situation has happened quite a few times. One of the basic guides to protecting yourself in a home invasion is don't investigate outside. Like example, if you hear a crying baby outside at 3 a.m. and you don't have a baby, don't go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Call the cops. Have y'all heard of anybody or experienced anything where you may have been tempted to go check outside, or is this common sense for everybody of, no, I'm not going to go check it?
Well, I haven't been tempted, but I have heard the stories, for whatever that's worth, of the archetypical homeowner. There's a banging on their door late at night, and there's some young girl out there who's saying that she's lost, she's been abandoned, whatever. Can she come inside? Can she use your phone? And people who meanwhile let her in. Meanwhile, there is a home invasion crew just on the other side of the door. And so I would recommend as advice for this is you don't want to be heartless and just say, no, go away. But you can say something like, well, what's the number? I'll call them for you. And if they decline to give you that number, that's a really good indication that there's someone there who's up to no good. But yeah, at night, unless you know who they are, or unless it's like, uniformed police or firefighter, yeah, you don't go outside. You don't open that door.
Well, I remember, a time, because, and it was probably about 7, 8 years ago before I got into guns. And, my husband worked out of town a lot. So my bedroom is right next to where we park our cars at. And so, and I kept thinking, I was laying down and I kept thinking, I was hearing a car door. It sounded like, maybe my car or something. And, I kept thinking, oh, okay, I'm just, imagining it. I kept hearing it for a little while, and then I just didn't hear anything and went to sleep. But when I got up the next morning and went outside, someone had obviously rummaged through my car. I'm pretty sure I know who it is. But looking, for probably change and money and stuff. But I can almost guarantee you I know who it is. But, I didn't, go outside. I didn't do any of that stuff. But, it was just one of those things. So that's probably about the only experience I've had with it.
Okay, so we live in the country, and my husband actually just put a comment in the chat out there. He's like, I live in the country with critters, so I go outside. Heck, I stay outside. And he does. Now, I don't. Now, during the day, I do, because typically, if you hear something, like we can hear a car or something, and I can usually hear it before it actually comes down the driveway. And you're like, are you expecting somebody? Are you expecting somebody? And we may walk out because, you're not expecting anybody. But at night, I don't go out, but he will. I mean, he's, of course, packing, but I mean, he goes out and checks on it. But again, I mean, we've had packs of hogs run through the yard and all kinds of wildlife. So, I mean, you just never know what you're going to get out here. So,
yeah, we've had coyotes and stuff out here. So, gotta love country living.
Definitely. Plus, I mean, somebody mentioned, do what you got to do and hold them down or whatever, or keep them detained, whatever, until you can get the laws out there. You know what? For some of us, that's not realistic. It would be the response time for us to get the laws out here. If there's somebody and they're coming in on me and they're not stopping, they're not going to survive. I mean, I'm not waiting for law enforcement.
Yeah, same here. The response time would probably be really long.
Well, I mean, if they're coming in on me, I'm shooting them too. I was just talking about clearing them from the house, but obviously, my plan is not for everyone. It's only good for me, and
right.
But you did bring up an interesting point regarding animals, and I'm far more likely to go outside at night to investigate a noise in the backyard if my dogs are out there. Now, I live in a suburb. It's somewhat rural. I mean, I've got a forest that backs up into the backyard. But to give you an idea, about 10 years ago at this point, I think, we looked outside the window, and in the next door neighbor's side yard, we saw a black bear. And it was just, yeah, it was scrounging for food, and it didn't seem like really aggressive. It looked small, so I think it was juvenile, but it was just, there's a bear out there. Yeah, let's call the neighbor, because the neighbor had his garage door open, and I think he was going through the trash, and we're all, let's call the next door neighbor and tell him not to go outside because that could end badly. Right. And the bear got bored and wandered off by the time animal control got there, but that was kind of hairy. But yeah, there's just all sorts of stuff that goes on in the back, and I know that we have deer because I've seen them, and we have honest to God alligators in the retention ponds. And sometimes they come out. I tell a story where I was driving to a doctor's appointment, and I literally, no kidding, saw a gator walking alongside a neighbor's house, just, right up against the wall. And I go, this is not good because there's a woman with a small child who lives there. So I stop the car, I bang on the door, and she doesn't open the door because, she doesn't know who I am. Just some, crazed rando banging on the door. But she leans out to look at me through the window, and I gesture wildly, and it's like, call animal control. There's an alligator in your side yard. And so she acknowledged me, and I went on my way. And so, an hour or so later, I'm driving back from my appointment, and yep, there's animal control. And it was a big one too. It was like 9 feet long or something. So when I go out into the backyard to investigate a noise, I have a shotgun that I bring with me. It's 12 gauge, and I've got it to whatever the minimum length is to make the ATF happy. And I've got the biggest, brightest flashlight I have on it. And because I'm actually more afraid of like rabid raccoons biting one of my dogs than I am about someone trying to get in. And so if I have to investigate a noise, well, might have to shoot an animal. So that's what I grab. And, people aren't likely to mess with someone wielding a shotgun.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that they would. That, yeah. So they have a deal of security systems. Now, security systems can be cameras inside or outside the home. It could also be dogs. I had a min pin chihuahua that was way louder than any security system we've ever had. What would you say would be a good security system, whether it's actual security systems or the makeshift security system on a budget?
Well, I would say the best security system is the one that lets you know what's going on. And that's one reason why I agree with you. I love dogs. I don't count on the dog to defend me. The dogs are an early warning system. And when they start barking in that particular manner, that's when I grab my shotgun, grab my sidearm, grab whatever, and I go investigate. And, they will wake us up. They have done that. And so anything that will wake you up, that will get your attention, is the most important. Now, if you want to pay the however many dollars a month so that if someone breaks in, the police are summoned, that's great. But I would much prefer that I know what's going on rather than be sleeping while the police are coming over here. So, yeah, the number one thing, if nothing else, make sure that your alarm system alerts you to the problem.
Right.
Okay, so I have an alarm system. It's called Clover Tack. It wakes you up when you don't want it to, be it security reasons or for weather reasons. And even though there's nothing to really be worried about, and wake up, get in the closet. Really? You couldn't have let me sleep through this? It'd been all right. So yeah, I have a personal home security system. It's pretty awesome. Even when I don't want it. I know everybody's not as lucky as I am, but I find that humorous because, my biggest thing is when he's away. And while my video that I did, I know people thought some of it was funny, but some of it is enough to distract or even make somebody think, oh, what am I going to get into further I get into this house? And it's going to make them go the other way. So, or it's going to buy me enough time that I can get my firearm where I need it to be. So, while I don't have actual security cameras or anything, we do have we have a nice little guard dog. If you listen to her, you think she's huge.
Yeah, I think that's one of the good things about having dogs. No matter well, I say no matter the size, but I have found that the smaller the dog, the bigger the bark. How about you, Stacey?
Or the more quantity, because I have 4. And to hear them bark at the front door, I mean, it's loud. They're my first alert, because I mean, even there's even been like a night where Snob came in late, and he would almost get attacked until he would say, "Hey, it's me," until they realized it was him. I mean, if someone's coming into my house and they don't know them, they will attack. And so they're my first ones. We do have some video cameras, and they're not very much. But there's also other things you can do. Like you can get the little devices and put them on your door. So like if your door opens in the middle of the night, you hear it. You say it was unlocked, or even during the day, because my mom's apartment, they put them in all their apartments. But yeah, my dogs are my first defense. And like I said, we have the cameras, and I was going to say something else and I completely lost it. Maybe I'll think of it here in a minute.
For me, with having my kids, under the age of 5, they've learned how to open doors by themselves. And so this works for them. So I know it will work if someone ever tried to break into the house. The little Christmas bells, I think the one that I use has like 4 of the big bells on it. When that thing is hung on the doorknob and someone opens it or shuts it, you can hear it in every room almost. So that's my favorite little indicator for a door opening.
Oh, definitely. And small things like that. If your dog doesn't, if it's something that doesn't trigger the dog immediately, if you think of that, a series of events, oh, that dog's going to be just yapping, yapping, yapping by the time you have, the bells go off, or hearing the knob mess up or something like that, or them kicking, or, it's going to be a series of events, and it's going to kind of lead into this huge thing where.
Right.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, Snob, he sleeps really heavy. Like, he won't even hear his alarms or my alarms or whatever. So it's usually me, the one that hears things. So it'll probably be me, the one waking up. I mean, if it's really loud, he would wake up. Like, heard a lot of roaring one night. Had like a small tornado go by. That woke us both up surprisingly at the same time, because it actually woke him up. But if it's small, mild noises, he won't wake up unless it's, a really loud noise. So it's usually me that's the one that's going to wake up.
Yeah, my husband can sleep through a tornado siren. So if there's something like that, I better be awake. Otherwise, I'm SOL. As far as, hold on, where am I at? Okay. Safe rooms, or rooms that you designate as a safe area if intruders do happen to get inside the house. What do you think about having a designated area? Any of y'all?
Well, I mean, safe rooms are great, but they are expensive. But that is one reason why I came up with that fatal funnel concept, because the hallway that leads to our bedrooms is right off the living room. And, well, I live with parents that are in their 80s, so I don't work with them. I work around them. I know that if there's a crisis situation, they aren't going to be doing a whole lot. And so my plan is if anything is going on, I basically shout at them to, go down the hallway and get back in the bedroom. And then, I'm armed and I place myself between them and whatever's coming in. And so that's the closest I get to a safe room. I would love for it to be reinforced, but we just don't have that kind of money. But
Yeah, we don't either.
yeah, but anyone who has that kind of money to make a panic room, to make a reinforced safe room, by all means, go for it. I support you. I would make sure that you have, well, if you don't, bleh, bleh, bleh. I would say that if your safe room is not a bedroom, that you should probably have some place to make yourself comfortable, because you don't know how long you will be in there, especially if it doubles as like a tornado shelter. So, have chairs, have a mattress, maybe have some water just in case. And that's a whole other topic of discussion. But in general, I'm for them, but they are really expensive to implement.
Yeah, I'm all about having a safe room on a budget. So whatever you can create as a safe room, as in you manage to get to a secured bedroom and you barricade yourself inside it, go for it. That's a lot safer than, just being out in the open. But everybody may not have million or so dollars to turn a house into, or create a safe room. I can't talk to that. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, do what you got to do. And if you can use a bedroom as a safe room, like Aaron said, make sure that you have food, water, get comfy because you might be there for a little while.
Oh,
How
and
about you,
good
Armintha?
cell reception, if not a hard line, because someone to call the police. Good idea.
Right.
Yeah, see, ours would be all the kids would have to get in one room. And, we're fortunate enough that we live on a large farm. So, of course, a quarter mile up the road are the grandparents, at a half mile, and then a half mile from us is, my husband's parent, dad. So, they are to barricade the door and go out the window and run up to grandma's or, Grandpa Rick's or whatever and go to them and wake them up and get them, also. So that's the plan for them, is to, barricade the door so they can't get in and get out the window and go up to a family member.
Well, that was actually going to be my question for you, Stacey. With the kids, did y'all talk this week or last week about home defense plans with the kids, and how did they react to it?
Well, they kind of already known. We've kind of gone through it before with them. If anything was to happen, especially about going up to the grandparents and stuff. But the main thing I talked to him about this week was because I didn't realize we all have iPhones, and I didn't realize our iPhones have an SOS feature that if you press the side button 5 times, it'll call emergency services. And if you can't slide the button to say, okay, it does a countdown. And if you don't cancel it within that countdown, it automatically calls. And then you set it up in the medical ID. You can set up text messages, like who to text message. And if they have to use that feature, it will automatically text us. And it will text us, if they had to use this feature, it texts their location and stuff. So they already knew that, apparently. I didn't know that till this past week. So some of them already had it set up, some didn't. But our kids are old enough also to know how firearms work. They've all been out there shooting. They can safely load it, unload it, shoot it, and are really good at hitting targets. So they also know where all the guns are. So, I mean, if they had to, they could be here and protect themselves if we're not going to be home. So, but yeah, they know everything if they need to know what they're supposed to do. And if for some reason they can't get out of the house, then they know to get the guns, and, they know if they have to use it. So, and they're prepared for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome that y'all went through that with them. think it's a great lesson.
Yeah, because even not too long ago,
Absolutely.
we went, I gave my daughter the option of going back to my mom's for the weekend because we were going to go to Branson. And so she decided she wanted to stay home, which, I mean, she's 15. She's old enough to stay home. We have family nearby. The family knew she was going to be home. And, Snob went out there and, with the carbine and the shotguns and all that stuff, took her back out there, and made sure, went over everything back with her. And that was in her room. The doors were locked. We had the dogs. And, it kind of made her a little nervous of just having it in there because, it makes it more real that something could happen. But she was more than prepared to be able to use it. So, and the main thing is not telling anybody you're home alone and not posting it on social media. And they all know that.
Exactly.
So,
very cool.
Which is funny because you realize that when we all get ready to go to NRA or to Tulsa or anything like that, weeks in advance, we're prepping and we're telling everybody what we're doing.
yeah. But I also have the extra advantage. Usually if I'm going to be gone 3-4 days, the kids aren't usually home alone for that amount of time.
Yeah, and I didn't mean that in response to the kids being home. I mean, in general, you're not supposed to, we shouldn't be telling people that we're not going to be home. But that is something that every single one of us do.
Yeah.
Because the next one is GRPC, right? That's the next big conference. And so there'll be a bunch of people already saying that they're going to GRPC.
I'm going to be speaking at GRPC. So I go. Although, see, one of the things that I do is that I make a big point of saying that I live in Daytona Beach. I don't actually. I live somewhere else in Florida. And so I get around some of this by having this layer of separation between my Facebook persona and my legal persona. And so that helps. Obviously, that doesn't work for everyone, but it works for me, and I exploit the heck out of it.
Yeah, and usually, I don't post on like Facebook, when I'm going to be at so-and-so, and usually it's on Instagram, and usually most of those people that I have on there are either close family or people from YouTube that also are going to be there. And stuff. And that's it. I don't even post that I'm going to be gone. Just, I'll post pictures from there or videos and stuff. But yeah, but and it all depends. I mean, some people have alarm systems. They have neighbors. I have family that watch the house. And I have 4 dogs. So if they can get through my dogs, that's pretty good, pretty good deal because not much can get by them.
Very cool.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump topic there, but anyway.
No, it's totally okay because we've actually gone through all of my topics. So is there anything else that y'all can think of for a good home plan?
Well, whatever your plan is, you really should practice it regularly, just the same way that you practice a fire plan or a tornado plan. Now, I don't get a lot of cooperation in this house because, as I said, my parents are in their 80s, and, unless it's their idea, they don't like to do things. So I kind of have to work around them. But if you are the mom or the dad and you have that level of authority, then you need to make a practice of, practicing it. Once a month is probably excessive. Once a year is not enough. I would actually say once every 3 to 4 months. And it's just like everything else. There are all these things that are perishable skills. So practice, practice, practice.
Absolutely. And that's a really good point. If you're going to make the plan, you need to be able to practice it. Armintha, Stacey, y'all got anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, it's practice. It's making sure, if you're, if we're going to be gone, we go over everything with them again, and stuff. And I mean, our kids, we take them out there fairly often to get them to shoot. They like to shoot. My 15-year-old doesn't, the noise bothers her even with the ear muffs, but she's always had ear problems. But so she doesn't like to shoot as much, but she will go out there and shoot. And she's an excellent shot at all. I mean, she is beyond an excellent shot. If she would just, go out there and shoot more often. I mean, she could probably outshoot Snob, and she could outshoot half of us in this house. But yeah, and if your kids are into firearms, keeping them, out there shooting on target and stuff, and get their familiar with it and stuff, which is what we've done here. Is they're as comfortable with the guns as they are with anything else in the house. So, but yeah, practice everything, go over everything, and like I said, I just learned that SOS thing, and that's pretty cool. So that's something that they can use anywhere, not just home.
I think realizing that there's no cookie cutter method, that what works for one doesn't work for all. And a lot of it's going to be, I'm not going to say trial and error, but through practicing your home defense plan, you're going to figure out what works for you. It's kind of like dry firing or drawing from your holster. If you're not doing that, you don't know what's going to work for you. So I say try it, and if this doesn't work, kind of revamp your plan and try something different until you and your spouse or you and your family find what worked for you, and realize that it may change over the course of a year or two.
Now that's where I'm really looking forward to the kids coming back, because the plan that Tardot and I have been talking about and trying out, it's going to be completely different once the kids are here. And you've got, the scenario that you're having to wake the kids up to move them to a safe location or something like that. My kids are not, they're not the easiest children to get to cooperate. They're kind of like poking a sleeping bear. And it's definitely going to be interesting to try out some of these different scenarios with them. And once they're asleep, it's like lifting a bunch of bags of potatoes. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. That's really all I can say about that. It's going to definitely be interesting.
Yeah, but it's going to be cool because as your kids get older, it's going to kind of change and it'll grow, and it'll get so much easier and better, and
right.
It'll evolve.
It's going to be cool to see. Yeah, it's going to be cool to see the evolution of where they started at to where they go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to them coming home and us trying out some of these plans.
Now, there is a one out here in the chat, and I'd have to find the first one. It's a David Ramirez. Says that his 18 and 13-year-old both know how to shoot and locate the guns in the house. He thinks it's a great thing to show the kids when they're responsible enough. He drops down below, though, and says, I also have the kids go through mental training, having an idea on how to respond when different situations happen. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, and would be a good idea. I mean, because, I have a couple here that would probably stay a little bit more calmer. And I have a couple that would probably be complete drama queens, and panic. So, but yeah, that's definitely, a big part of it too, is, that, because you're going to have some that's going to panic. I mean, I know two of them. I know my daughter, my 15-year-old and my 14-year-old, they both be, I think, a little bit more calm-headed. I mean, they be scared and stuff, but they be a little bit more calmer. Now the oldest, that's good. Hysterical, panic stricken, and even trying to go through that, I don't know if I can get that out of them, but it's definitely worth trying.
That will definitely be interesting.
For sure, for sure. Okay. We are at the 6-minute mark.
All righty. So we're going to go ahead and wind things down for the evening. Let's run through the panel one last time. We'll start with you, Armintha.
Oh, yay. Yay. Thanks for having me tonight. If you have not seen my home defense plan, check it out on That Guy's Wife Media. It's kind of funny and kind of not at the same time. So I think most people get a kick out of it if you go watch it. So definitely go check that out. All right.
It's awesome. They should definitely check it out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I loved it. So it was awesome.
They'll definitely buy me some time so that I can get to my firearm for sure.
Yeah. Anything else you got going on?
Oh, I go back to work this week. So, yeah, just trying to fit things in between work. So otherwise, check me out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the norms.
And do you have a website that people can reach you at?
Of course I do. That would be www.thatguyswifemedia.com.
Awesome. Definitely go check it out, y'all.
Thank you.
How about you, Stacey?
Oh, well, not too much. I go back to work this week as well, and trying to get over this cold or whatever it is that I have. Other than that, I've been shooting some really cool guns and putting that on Instagram right now. So with Snob's deal with Sports World in Tulsa, he's been bring home a lot of guns, and I've been able to try out a bunch of different guns that I wouldn't normally get to try. So, like, today was probably the first day I actually shot a Kimber 1911 45, which is probably the first time I've shot a 45. So, and a 1911 on top of that. So, I've been doing a little bit of that here and there when it's not extremely humid and hot. So, other than that, just going back to work. Fun.
But you do realize that you shot my favorite gun ever, right?
Yeah, I only shot one mag through it tonight, so I'm definitely going to try and shoot some more tomorrow evening on it. I haven't shot the 22s that he brought home as well. I haven't shot them yet. So, but yeah, I'm definitely going to shoot it some more. So, I typically only really shot the 22s and the 9mm. So, but yeah, so I get to try out a bunch of new guns now, and that gun's so far it seemed pretty cool. Like I said, I only put one mag through it right now, so I'll do some more. But by the time it cooled off, it was like 7:00, 7:15. I was gonna have the show soon, so I didn't get the chance to put too many through it yet, but I will.
We'll look forward to it. That is really cool. How about you, Aaron? Got anything going on?
It caught me in another window. I don't have anything going on at the moment, which is great because June wore me out. So I am just relaxing and taking it easy until September when I fly to Phoenix, Arizona for GRPC. And I'm looking forward to seeing Armintha there and hopefully some of the rest of y'all. Maybe we could have a GunGals like in a hotel room or that sounded wrong. But I mean, recording an episode live there. But yeah, other than that, I'm just hanging out. I'm doing my thing, and I'm active all over the place. But for fans of this show, I'm going to once again pimp out my personal podcast, the Assorted Calibers podcast with my buddy Weird Beard. A new episode drops every Monday, and you can find us at assortedcalibers.com.
Very cool. For me, I am in the middle of going through and baby proofing or child proofing all of the stuff that we have gotten accustomed to not having to keep up since the kids have been away. So I've got a week to go through and remove sharp objects, put scissors away, paints, anything like that the kids can mess with. I've got to put it up a couple of shelves higher. So it's pretty much all I'm going to be doing all week is just double checking to make sure my kids aren't going to tear up anything. So if you're new to GunGals, we would like to invite you to like our Facebook page. We're also on Instagram. Real quick, a huge shout out to Gun Channels. If you haven't yet, check it out. Gun Channels is an online 2A community where we can share and connect with other like-minded members. We stream live there as well as here every Sunday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have you heard of GunStreamer? We're over there too. It's awesome. Go check them out. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of GunGals Live. Next week, we will be talking with Hiding Hilda. So definitely make sure you check out next week's episode. We would love your input for what content you would like to see from the live show and for the rest of the channel. You can share your thoughts and ideas or just send us some love at info@gun-gals.com. Good night, y'all, and we'll see y'all on the next video.